Rivers and streams are extremely important to our economy, environment and communities. They flow through our landscapes, providing connections between the mountain ranges and the coast, build our fertile floodplains and support a huge amount of biodiversity.
When Europeans first arrived at creeks and waterways like this 200 years ago, they found streams that were relatively stable and vegetated. But that changed really quickly as they cleared the catchment, channelized the streams, cleared the banks of the rivers, extracted sand and gravel, and basically modified the waterways for flood management and stability. Many of the management actions that people did to stabilise and manage these streams only further degraded them, rocking them, straightening them and attempting to control them. These types of works were historically promoted and encouraged by governments and engineers for good reasons at the time, but before they understood the complexities of these systems. Today, we are recognising the environmental and social values of more natural streams and are striving to manage them for a range of values, while still recognising that flooding and erosion are real issues for communities.
When we founded Alluvium, we wanted to create a company that brought together the fundamental disciplines required for river rehabilitation: hydrology, hydraulics, fluvial geomorphology, sediment transport, vegetation management, and the ecological sciences critical to river health. Past simplistic approaches to management often led to heavy-handed on-ground programs. We sought to provide a science-led approach to bridge the gap between community aspirations for healthy waterways and the ongoing programs of management. This science-led approach is founded in the quantitative analysis of the processes that impact on the health and function of our waterways. Our approach seeks to work with natural processes to achieve long-term sustainable waterway management and river rehabilitation outcomes. Key to this approach is the establishment of native riparian vegetation as the most cost-effective component of effective waterway management programs.
It can be quite disheartening coming out here after a flood event and seeing all the devastation it's caused to the river and its floodplain, mainly just due to the fact there's really poor riparian vegetation. We know from experience, and the science is also pretty clear, that a healthy riparian vegetation community is really the critical factor in limiting these large-scale erosion issues, and it's also fundamental to the ecological function of our rivers and streams. So a lot of our work is about firstly understanding the river, so how water and sediment move through the system, what's the bank material, what's holding it all together, and then working out what's going to happen to the river and floodplain if we don't do anything. We then need to work with stakeholders in the community to reach consensus around whether these likely changes are acceptable, and if not, what are we going to do about it? Often these discussions need our engineers and scientists to collaborate with ecologists, traditional owners, social scientists and economists.
Once we try and intervene in a river, our main goal is trying to recreate the geotechnical and hydraulic conditions that will allow native vegetation to re-establish along the banks and the floodplain. Once you can provide the foundations for that native vegetation, then it will do the rest of the heavy lifting in helping to achieve that river recovery and the return of those vital physical habitats, the pools, the riffles and the undercut banks. Some of the tools we may use to help create the right conditions for vegetation include bank reshaping, placement of timber piles or logs along the bank toe or across the channel. These works are all designed to slow down the flow and trap some of the sediment and seeds moving through the system. Our aim is to use our understanding of river hydraulics and hydrology to provide just the minimum amount of intervention needed to get the vegetation established, and that then provides that ongoing river recovery. When you get a chance to come back to sites we worked on, say 5, 10 years ago and see the change, is probably my favourite part of this job. You see the birds have come back, the landholder tells of the platypuses they see swimming in the area, you see the fantastic bankside refuge areas being used by native fish. In such a short time, the change can be quite remarkable. If we can upscale this type of work across the landscape, the benefits we could achieve for our economy, communities and environment would be transformational.